Alive.
Hey, True Believers England team here, and we got a movie to review. I'm here with the good authenticator, Dalton here. What's up, my friend?
I am on cloud freaking 9 right now because I just watched Werewolf by Night.
It was surprising, as a matter of fact, because I read a review of this one, and it was by somebody whom, shall we say, their pills are of a darker nature. And they started talking about, oh, it's a bait and switch. It's a bait and switch. It's not really anything, you know, oh my gosh, it's going to be horrible because you go in expecting to see a man dealing with his, with being a werewolf. And instead you get this woman like, wait, what? And then I watched it. What the hell are you?
Yeah, number one, that
about?
woman is Elsa freaking Bloodstone. Thank you very freaking much.
This guy, I think, watched the trailer and then guessed, because what movie did he watch? Because I got a whole different thing. Plus, okay, I do have to mention this as well. If you go in expecting this is what the story's going to be, I mean, come on. How many times do you guess that exactly right? And hello to ALOISE in the chat. What's up? If you go and, oh no, this is going to be what it is. It's going to be the origin story. We're going to get no. And that's one of the great things about this movie. And I'm calling it a movie. It's about an hour long. I wish it was a full length.
It's a special. It either should have gone full movie or it should have become a series.
I want to include this in the top 100 films of this year, but it doesn't meet, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, but no, it's pretty freaking awesome. And we were talking about this backstage, but this might be my favorite thing of Phase 4.
I'm right there next to you. I've got to think about this because I loved Wayne and Wanda, and I loved what you call it, the one with the spider guy going all over the universes and all that kind of stuff.
No Way Home.
Yeah, so those two were really strong. And I wonder, okay, where does Werewolf by Night fit into this? So I wanted to, obviously you guys know what we feel about this, and I am freaking hell yes recommending this. And I would rather talk about, like, we'll make this probably about a half hour long or so, but I want to talk about non-spoilery stuff before we get into the spoiler stuff. There are some things that had been spoiled by the preview. And one of the things, everybody makes fun whenever I have this comic book in the auction because they say, ha ha ha, England teen selling his Man-Thing. Holy crap, we got to see Man-Thing's freaking burning touch.
Yeah, he awesome. Who knows fear burns at the touch of the Man-Thing.
If you know fear, if you have fear in your heart when you see the Man-Thing, his touch burns. And I'm thinking, who wouldn't? Seriously. And he's pretty badass in this.
Yeah, and I like it because he almost has a Groot-like vibe to him where I can't help but think of him as kind of cute by the end. It's like, yeah, I can.
He's more intelligent.
You're good, man. You do you.
But I'll tell you what. I recently, hey, Jonah Arts, what's up? Recently, I read a Man-Thing, and he was speaking normal English and so forth. I've seen it before, but I kind of like the fact that he can't. Not that he's not intelligent, but he doesn't have the vocal skill. He doesn't have the vocal.
Again, it's similar to Groot, where you know what he wants to say by virtue of like his intonation and stuff, but it's still he's not human enough where it's like, yeah, no, I got what you're saying, and you don't need. And other characters reacting to him and understanding what he says also helps. But I'll say this for me. This one was genuinely a surprise for me because I didn't like the trailer so much. I thought they were gonna.
The trailer grabbed me like the New Mutants trailer did, and if you remember, I was really jazzed for New Mutants. And one day they're gonna put it out. And
this went a hell of a lot better for you than New Mutants did. It's for sure.
Yep. It's a movie preview. It's about a comic book issue, so I figure it could go on the movie channel, it can go on this one, and it could go on Old Man Comics. And I'm going to end up putting it on the Disney Channel. What the hell? Everything needs content, right? but it's going to make its rounds. So it's and I might edit out the ands and ums before it gets to Disney, though. But still, okay. So yeah, the preview comes out. I love it. I get this review. Like I said, this guy must not have watched it, because he's talking about how this movie becomes all about Ilsa Bloodstone instead of about Werewolf by Night. Not once did I ever think that this wasn't a Werewolf by Night.
No, she was a capable supporting character, as in, like Kate Beckinsale's character in Van Helsing, or the actress in The Mummy, the one that Brendan Fraser plays off of. That's the kind of character we're dealing with.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing, but he was definitely the main guy. And what it is, and so I don't understand this bait and switch thing. And so, and I think right at this point, we're getting out ahead of it. I only saw this one review, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get it again. Oh, it's another MC.
It could have easily become that if they had made her bitter and misandric and flat and
but not
crap
at all.
like they did with Captain Marvel. But they didn't do that. They made her a likable, you understand her history. You understand why she's a badass. It's the closest analogy I can make MCU-wise for her is like Black Widow. If you didn't have a problem with Black Widow being Black Widow, then I can't imagine why in the heck you would have a problem with Ilsa Bloodstone being Ilsa Bloodstone. Yeah,
so there are a couple of characters in here who I did not recognize. So what in the storyline? We see Jack Russell. I'm going to do a video about his name, by the way. We see Jack Russell coming up to a building. He's got this invitation. He steps in. Everybody's looking at him, and at first I thought, do they already know he's the werewolf? What's up? Because everybody's staring. Find out that this is just a bunch of monster hunters, and they're there because Ulysses Bloodstone, also from Marvel Comics, he died, so he needs to pass on his stone to somebody. But his daughter is out of the will now, so she has to earn it just like anybody else, because she hadn't visited. Oh, and by the way,
she doesn't really jive with the family business until she went off doing her own thing.
And spoilers from this point on. So she comes back, and there's some tete-to-tete and all that kind of stuff, and we get a little bit of hey, we got hunters and warriors abound with a kill, and the lady that's doing the Ulysses' wife does a whole thing where she reads off everybody's kill count, 21, 27, and she starts going, she gets this
30, 40, 50, 100.
Gets this big guy, and he says 57. That's great. And of course 100, and points to Jack Russell. And everybody's like, wait, really? He goes, yeah. Of course, we don't know. He doesn't mention that he's a werewolf because these are monster hunters. He's a monster. They don't know this yet.
It would not go well for him if he's forced to explain this.
So anywho, they do the whole rigmarole. I love the bit where they take the corpse of Ulysses Bloodstone and they animate it for his
Like he couldn't be here tonight, so he made arrangements so that he could be here tonight. And then they basically hook his corpse up to a music box and have him play his last will and testament to them.
It was definitely gruesome.
At the corpse, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I dig that.
It's pretty freaking amazing, actually. Yeah.
It's and then they say, okay, here's the thing. We grabbed ourselves a very dangerous monster. The last person standing, the person who kills the monster gets the bloodstone. Also, by the way, you're all fair game for each other, so you can kill each other to eliminate the competition if you feel like it. And that happens a couple of times where instead of working together or anything like that, and then battling it out, they just go, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you now!" Woo! And there's a couple of people die in it. And then we find out what's going on. As we watch Jackie's walking through, they're all in this maze. he's
they're
walking
also
around.
not shy about showing it either. It gets quite slashery from here.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
time
one
to
guy
time.
gets a sword right in the head. Another one gets his just disemboweled. At this point, Jack's walking around and he kind of backs up. He's up against a bush, and we see a monster hand come around, and he goes, "Hey, buddy!" And he turns around, and there's Man-Thing. We find out that the big monster everybody's got to kill is Man-Thing. Now Jack Russell has to get him out of here, and so he's got to fight all the bad guys. But he ends up teaming up with Elsa Bloodstone in order to get him out, and they do. But as they get him out, Elsa pulls a stone off of the Man-Thing, and when Jack reaches for it, it blows him back because
the deal was essentially, help me get my friend out of here and I'll get you your stone. And by this point, she realizes that he's the only other person who doesn't really go for the bloodthirsty kill all the monsters thing. So they team up and they do this, and then he picks it up to give it to her, and the Bloodstone is like, "You're a monster, so don't freaking touch me."
Now, MK's asking, is the show darker than Moon Knight? Let me put it to you this way, MK. The only sentence that Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night should be in at the same time is Werewolf by Night kicks the shit out of.
Yeah, Moon. Yeah,
that's it.
This show is, in some ways, I think, darker than this show. I think in some ways is darker than Multiverse of Badness.
Yeah, I don't think Marvel will do TV shows after that. Well, I think they would, Ahsoka, because they see us as ists and phobes. We're wrong for not liking it. It's not like they go, "Oh, wow, okay, well, we shouldn't do this." What it is we shouldn't be so bigoted as to not like it. I think they're going to move forward.
Yeah. Not liking it is forbidden, Derp. Yeah.
So then we get the we get the big scene. You've seen it in the previews where he's in a cage, and they find out what they want to do is have him turn into a werewolf and tear Elsa Bloodstone apart.
They're trying to feed her to him, basically.
And when he realizes this is what they're doing, he goes over and he starts smelling her. And he says, when I turn, don't lose eye contact. I need to remember you. I need to do these triggers. I need to do these things. So maybe I'll remember you when I become the werewolf. She says, has it ever worked? And he goes, once. So it's a big long shot that it's going to work.
Backstory, he has a lover that he tried to save once. Yay.
So they turn him into the werewolf, and he starts wrecking all sorts of havoc. Elsa gets out, and once again, remember, the Bloodstone repels monsters. It hurts monsters. And he gets cornered, and he's all the way. He tears into guards, by the way. I'm skipping over a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, he goes full on, like,
I want to
give wolf on some people here.
Specifics. I want to give you guys overall, this is what happens, because holy shit, this is a great violent show. It really is. This one definitely is an R-rated show here.
Imagine if the 5-minute scene of Wanda tearing apart the Illuminati was 20 minutes long, and you're bloody somewhere in there. Yeah,
and wasn't PG-13. But he goes off on the guards. He kills a couple of the other hunters. And while trying to make his escape, the big metal door comes down. Now he's blocked because the wife of Ulysses Bloodstone has the Bloodstone, and she's using it against him. Elsa kind of wings it back there. Doesn't kill her. I'm not going to reveal that. I'm not going to reveal what happens to the big bad guy. But she doesn't kill her, but she just kind of knocks her out of the way so Werewolf by Night can make the escape. And then, of course, we find out what happens to the bad guy, and we get our little epilogue. All the good guys are being happy. They play Somewhere Over the Rainbow for some reason. And
okay, the reasoning there to some degree is the entire special is in black and white except for the Bloodstone. The Bloodstone is this glowing crimson red in a black and white setting. And then when Elsa, the rightful heir of the Bloodstone, takes the Bloodstone, it brings the color back, and they're trying to evoke Wizard of Oz by making a Somewhere Over the Rainbow thing. But I'm not sure it lands like they wanted it to land, but I'm still here for it because it works.
Yep. Joan Hart saying, I guess they might be comfortable doing R-rated shows and movies now since they got Deadpool in the MCU. Maybe so, but let me tell you something. I watched this, and my first thought is this thing's coming to a close, and they put it in color, and we actually do get a color version of the Man Thing, and I was excited for that. That's the thing. Like, I loved all of it, but when the Man Thing shows up, I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
And that's
the
when I
relationship
realized,
between them was also really cute and really nice.
That's when I realized, holy shit, they wasted a great freaking opportunity. She-Hulk, we should have gotten chillers by or Marvel chillers, or what is it, Creatures of the Night, or
I mean, heck, you could have basically done an entire Werewolf by Night show.
You could have done
Man Thing, basically.
I want the other characters though. Don't need Werewolf by Night every episode. Next episode could have been Man Thing, which could have led into Tigra, which could have led into iZombie or Frankenstein. Just chillers.
Yeah, but you're not seeing the opportunity though here. You give Werewolf by Night the show, and you have the other monster characters show up throughout that show, kind of like for some reason every character cameos in. But then after Werewolf by Night season 1, you do a Midnight Suns show or a Monster Squad show, and then you have them team up, or a Monster Squad movie. So some kind of thing where there's a team of monsters hunting other monsters would be where I would go with this. But that's neither here nor there. My two kind of meaningless fanboy gripes in regard to this are, number one, where were you guys in Multiverse of Madness where you should have been? And number two, why is this the one-off special and She-Hulk is the show? Because this should have been the show.
Yeah, if they were gonna, I get it, I guess. Okay, I'm putting up a poll here. Which one of our ideas is better? Do you want the Werewolf by Night where people make the cameos, or do you want the full show where everybody gets their own episode? That's in the that's the poll.
Because you want a what if style anthology where each character gets an episode.
Yeah, you could do the Midnight Suns thing at the end, but every character would get a full on show. I get it. I thought the same thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at Endgame. Why won't we just bring everybody in? But I guess I'm fine
with Jack and Ilsa being the main characters though, because their dynamic is really cool, and they do a really, really good job of making Jack sympathetic. He's probably the best introduction of a new character we've gotten in Phase 4, because he's so... I like him because he's so humble and so shy.
Yeah.
And so reserved because he knows he's been...
By the way...
He's been through some crap, is what I'm saying. And he knows it. So he tries to be as nice as he can.
There was humor in this show. And you know what it didn't do? Oh, big dramatic moment!
It didn't wink at the audience.
Yeah, there wasn't... It didn't ruin anything. It actually flowed free with it.
It worked in the context of like the 1930s Universal movie monster era.
Oh my gosh! Did you notice the cigarette burns?
Yeah.
I love that shit, man. I was like, oh my gosh! I can't believe they're doing that. Every 15 minutes, you get a cigarette burn up in the corner, the same way you would when
a changing of the reel
to reel movies. Like, up until they did digital, it was on a platter. It was all put together. But before that, I'm like one of the last projectionists trained in reel to reel. I kid you not. But you would have two projectors, and you would get it all set up while the other one was playing. And when you saw that cigarette burn, you hit start on the other projector, and then you changed out this reel. And then when it happened, when you saw that cigarette burn, you would hit start. So it never lost a moment. If you did it right, everything should be okay. But they added that every 15 minutes into Werewolf by Night to make it look like it was a movie of its time. I love this. You know what? I'm going to.
Yeah, and I was worried about this because I thought it would feel too much like a parody. It doesn't.
No.
This straight up feels like, because they're not making fun of the 1930s Universal movie monster era like I thought they would. They're playing it genuinely straight, and it's awesome.
I'm shocked they didn't either, Glinzer. They actually respected the character for once.
Yeah, and to be fair, like we were saying earlier, Elsa Bloodstone has an amazing showing here, and she is a badass. But despite what the black pill types will tell you, her badassery makes perfect sense and doesn't upstage him at any point.
Bait and switch. I know some people are going to get mad because Werewolf by Night was being held back by the Bloodstone, and then what's her name comes along and knocks the bad guy out of the way. So
Elsa.
Yeah, I know you're going to get a little bit of flack from that, but oh my gosh!
But like I said, if you guys remember Brenton Fraser's Mummy and how he kind of had the back and forth with his eventual love interest there, that's the kind of dynamic here. Or Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing and Kate Beckinsale's character in Van Helsing. That's the kind of dynamic they have here.
Oh wow, we could. I think we could spin wheels here, or we could continue. I'll tell you this. This is one that I don't know if I would put it above Spider-Man, but this is one of the best things out of Marvel Phase 4, and I know that isn't saying much, but holy crap. I was excited again. You know, I haven't been, like, Endgame was the last thing that had me going, oh, wow. Like, no, I guess Spider-Man, parts of Spider-Man did too.
I think Infinity War and parts of WandaVision were the only times I felt that excitement again. And of course,
I liked WandaVision.
In WandaVision, they Ralph Bonered it, and it annoyed me. But that's
I liked WandaVision, but I didn't feel this way about WandaVision, where I was like, I want to stop here, and then I want to watch Werewolf by Night again. That's if I could.
Yeah, I immediately, as soon as I finished watching it, was like, do I really want to go back to the beginning and watch this all over again? And and my brain is now thinking to myself, like, why haven't we watched Werewolf by Night a second time?
If I could get away with it, I would watch it again right now and just show it, and we'll talk all through it. But it's so good. It is so good. How about Werewolf by Night versus Blade? You know what? There was a hunter in here that I swear to God, he looked.
They
like
wanted
Blade.
to be Blade, but they couldn't use Blade. I swear to God.
There's another thing though. I would love if you guys, when you're watching this, if you hear about who these people are, leave it in the comments below. But this one black guy looked like Blade, but he was wearing Ghost Rider's jacket.
Yep.
And I was like, wait, is he Ghost Rider? When they first show him, like, is he Ghost Rider? And then I thought, did he kill Ghost Rider? What's the deal here? I want to know about
the other thing was the other thing that popped into my head when they were doing their there can only be one of us thing. Especially with the Scottish guy standing there, I was like, did they just reference Highlander?
Ahsoka noticed it. I thought he was Ghost Rider or Blade who killed Ghost Rider. I know, right? But he's neither. He's they're, as far as I know, they're just hunters. Nameless hunters for this.
Although they do make story. They do make it clear that the Bloodstone is explicitly supernatural because the wife character has to say an incantation before she can use it. So
Nerdette saying Werewolf by Night was so good. I don't know if she used that accent. I'm putting it in there just so it's so good because you know what it was. Guys, look, I'm fawning over this show. I'm so glad to be excited about something MCU-ish. I was really, really fanboying for the Hulk or She-Hulk, and unfortunately, it's been three episodes.
Your faith was misplaced.
3 episodes were good to me, and I don't care what anybody says. This last one was one of them. With
Daredevil, it was okay.
Daredevil, yeah,
but it wasn't She-Hulk that made the most recent episode of She-Hulk good. It was Daredevil being Daredevil that made the most recent episode.
Well, I did like like in the TV show, which, by the way, I will say this before I start on this, the 3 seasons of Daredevil from the Netflix TV show are 3 of the best things that are produced based on any Marvel comic property. I say that without hesitation or irony. I truly believe the Netflix Daredevil show is absolutely one of the best things that has any Marvel comic character in it, period. That being said, I was one of the people who knew, because I don't think a lot of people know the way they start blackpilling all over the out of everything, that you're not going to have the Netflix show characters acting like Netflix show characters in the Marvel MCU.
They got pretty freaking close, though, to be fair. But
I'll tell you what they did do right was the way he jumped around and bounced around. I thought that was awesome. I really did. And I got to admit, I laughed when the leapfrog jumped out the window and broke his legs.
But LK, no, they didn't mess up Elsa. She is every inch the Laura Croft-esque badass really monster hunter that she should be. And although I don't think she's a redhead, she has black hair in the show, but she does at the end. It's revealed she is wearing her fiery red jacket, or her blood red jacket, like she should. So there's that.
Yeah, it is true that they toned down Daredevil's violence for the She-Hulk show because it's a different feel. The MCU is different than the Netflix, so they were going. Well,
it's also not. It's also, wow, I think we'd all be more grateful if it were Daredevil show. It's also not his show yet. So when we get to Born Again, maybe it will ratchet up the intensity again.
Glenzer, I'm gonna say yes to both. It had a great ending where it ended. It did end on, it did after it ended show a little bit of a but in season 4, unfortunately we never got season 4, and so it was kind of abrupt as well. But before the reveal of what they're setting up for season 4, it did have a great ending. Unfortunately, none of them were ended with the idea that they're going to end. But that's MCU for you. MCU also has, for the most of these, the shows are supposed to be for all ages.
Yeah, and
or at least PG-13, I would assume.
Yeah, and I'll say that they could easily get away with doing the harder PG-13 than they do, like Pirates of the Caribbean 3 style. But speaking of which, they got pretty far away with the PG-13 on Werewolf by Night. There's a lot of murder scenes.
Like I said, one person takes a sword to the face, another person gets gutted, another one has an arrow go through their jaw, and it actually is through the neck and out the jaw. And it's
also really fun though, without being wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the camera every 5 minutes.
It really does kind of take care of all of these things at the same time. It's fun, it's dark, there's an atmosphere to it because of the black and white that I like. Seeing the Man Thing in black and white is freaking awesome.
I mean, both worked, honestly. Both I was just like over the moon. Yay, that thing!
But you know what? I'm kind of a little disappointed that I got a good-looking Man Thing before I got a good-looking Swamp Thing. I enjoy that movie from the 1980s, but it is a guy in a costume, and it's
but nitpicking. Yeah. And honestly, it's a really good Halloween special too. If you're looking for something Halloween related to watch this year, and you like superhero stuff, watch Moon Knight for the love of all that, or watch Werewolf by Night for all that is holy.
Not Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight. While I enjoyed certain aspects of Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night leaves Moon Knight in the dust to the point where when they eventually do Midnight Suns and they have to bring both together, I'm honestly hoping that Jack Russell and Elsa Bloodstone are essentially co-leads of the Midnight Sun.
The Moon Knight never, in my opinion, lived up to the promise of.
No, it really needs a season 2 before it'll actually get to.
Awful. It wasn't horrible. I wouldn't even say it was bad, but it just wasn't.
They didn't insult the character, but Werewolf by Night, by contrast, was really good to the character, and it was very good to the characters who are like adjacent to the characters. Because if you're like me and you love the mystical, supernatural, gothic side of the Marvel Universe, this was like being a kid in a Halloween candy store.
Yeah. Glenzer says it sounds like Werewolf by Night should have had a theatrical release. If they, I don't know how they would have been able to extend it another half hour. The story that they had anyway was kind of.
I think if they had played up the monster hunters killing each other angle more to almost make it like a most dangerous game, they could have.
If you gave 5 or 10 minutes to all the hunters and gave them more characterization, played them out a little bit more, or had a couple of scenes where they did work as a group, where they were fighting. Maybe
because it already had almost a most dangerous game vibe to it, and they could have played into that.
Hold on, you're talking under. If they had like brought in some of the Journey into Mystery or Tales to Astonish monsters like Magneto and Groot and all that kind of stuff, they couldn't do that one though. But if they brought some of those in for the monster hunters to kill, and then showed them getting an invitation, that would add a little bit of runtime, would tell you what they're all about, and would have explained why this guy's wearing Ghost Rider's coat. That would, but yeah, overall, it is a really good. It doesn't overstay its welcome at 1 hour. So,
but that being said, I want a Werewolf by Night show now, or a monster show, or a Midnight Sun show, or something to expand this, please.
Let's see, with it being a TV show that an episode released every day for a week up to Halloween, or just, like I said, 4 episodes. You could do Werewolf by Night, iZombie, Frankenstein, and Tomb of Dracula.
Yeah, like
that would have been an awesome freaking, like I say, you call it Chillers or something like that, or Crypt of Shadows. I believe that was one of Marvel's
Journey into You can even get away with like Journey into Mystery or something. Yeah. That sounds kind of. But in any case, more of this, please. All of the more of this. To have her
lead the Monsters Unleashed team, says LK. Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. It should have released on Halloween. I get why they do it beforehand, because Halloween is kind of like an alarm clock. It's Halloween.
Yeah, then it plays for the entire season instead of just the one night.
Yeah, like those old TV shows that had built around Halloween event. Yeah, well, they put it out now. You've got, what is it? Now you've got 24 days to watch it before Halloween. Hey, what's up, Hominus? How you doing? Okay, but the question is, do you need to bring in the popcorn for the scary show? If anyone brings out that noisy-ass food, smack them, divorce them, disown them if they're your children. Freaking popcorn shouldn't be anywhere near the goddamn movies.
Unless
I know I'm alone on this one. I hate popcorn when I'm trying to watch a movie. It's worst.
On your first watch, yes. On your second and third and fourth watches, no. And I will say this: if there is a movie or a special that deserves to be watched on Halloween night while you're sitting eating, popcorn balls, this is the one.
Popcorn balls. This is the nearest. That's the nearest STD to cotton balls, or beer nuts. Yes.
I'm sorry, but it's not Halloween effectively until I've had at least one Act 2 popcorn ball.
Okay. Dalton's gay, guys. All right. Okay, let's see what else we got here. If they played it up. It's like most dangerous game. Yeah, you're right, Ahsoka. That could have been a good one.
That's literally what I was saying. Yes, and yeah, they easily could have played the most dangerous game thing a little bit more, and it would have been cool. I liked what we got, but it could have easily added another half an hour, and I still would have been happy. So.
Hello to How to Garden. How you doing, guys? If you are interested in plants or just Florida wildlife, all that kind of stuff, go to How to Garden. I do. Actually,